This is a continuation of video 6, the Christian Zionist Manifesto, the problems of Africa. In the last video, we mentioned the various problems of Africa. One, the triple heritage religious problem. That is, most African countries have Islam, Christianity, and traditional religion struggling to take over the identity of the nation state. The second is the problem of multilingualism and multi-ethnicity. That is the second problem. Most African countries are heterogeneous in nature. Three, lack of strategic alliance. Most African states do not have a strategic alliance with the world powers. Four, lack of beneficial strategic partnership. And we ended that topic with the fact that nationalization of industries in Africa will not bring about the needed development. That by confiscating the industries and wealth of foreigners, that does not mean that the Canaanite state can operate these confiscated industries and wealth profitably. A case in point is the nationalization of Barclays Bank and the shares of British Petroleum in Shell Nigeria, which did not bring about lasting benefits. Union Bank was eventually mismanaged. The shares of the federal government of Nigeria in Shell grew from 35% in 1973 to 55% in 1974 to 60% and 80% in 1979 and fell to 55% in 2019. And efforts are being made to drop it further to 40% so that more money can be raised to finance budget deficits. Canaanite Africans believe that Europeans and Americans should control more than half of its oil wealth. Outright nationalization and control of the oil companies or gold companies or diamond companies will be a complete disaster, as Canaanites like hyenas will eat the companies dry to the bones. Only a new breed of Christian Zionist Africans can manage state enterprises wholly or partially in partnership or collaboration with Europeans. Now we are going to a new topic under the problems of Africa. Number 5, lack of true federalism. According to Chief Obafemi Awolowo in his book, Thoughts on Nigerian Constitution, multi-ethnic nations should practice true federalism. This will give the constituent ethnic nationalities more political freedoms and latitude. Many African countries that are multi-ethnic and multi-religious in composition were the creations of the colonial masters. The colonial masters had the option of creating homogeneous states like theirs around a dominant ethnic group and religion, but they deliberately created the Tower of Babel situation to foster a divide and rule situation and continuous domination. Buccaneer African leaders on their own run their federal states like unitary states. The dictator, backed by his own ethnic group, forced an ethnic hegemony or an ethnic agenda on the other tribes. Life presidency is a common phenomenon in the African political landscape. Number 6, least contact with Jewish civilizing influence. It is an indisputable fact that apart from the blessings of Noah, another major contributory factor to the development of Europe and Asia and North and South America is the positive influence of the Jews living among them. From the time of their dispersion by the Assyrian, Babylonian, and Roman empires, Israelites have lived all over the world and contributed immensely to the cultural and socio-economic life and development of the host communities. Without the Bible or the Torah, the whole world will be in darkness. Without Jewish monotheistic influence, the world will be a conglomeration and coterie of primitive, semi-primitive, or modern barbarians and idolatrous civilizations of Scythians, Parthians, Goths, Visigoths, Ostrogoths, Celts, Gauls, Vikings, Huns, Franks, Vandals, Saxons, Druids, Mongols, Aryans, Bushmen, Hottentots, Egyptians, Bedouins, Africans, Bantus, Assyrians, Babylonians, Greeks, and Romans. The world as it were today was civilized by Judeo-Christian influence. Unlike South Africa and North African states that have significant Jewish populations and culture which contributed immensely to their development, a lot of West and Central Africans, a lot of West Africans and Central Africans, including myself, have never seen a bearded Jew or a synagogue all their lives in our own countries. Today, USA have the largest concentration of Jews, followed by Russia. Germany had the largest before World War II. Europe still has very strong Jewish presence. Japan and China have large Jewish presence in their countries. Cities like Manchuria and Shanghai were said to be centers of Jewish population and presence as at the World War II period. This Jewish presence largely impacted on their development. It is possible to theorize or postulate that there is a positive correlation between the Jewish presence or a Judeo-Christian presence and the development of a nation. African countries made their situation worse by ostracizing themselves from the blessings attached to being friends of Israel by severing diplomatic relations with her after the Arab-Israeli Wars of 1967 and 1973. European and Asian countries, North Africa and South Africa, have one thing in common. This is their strong Jewish populations, intermarriage, which largely contributed to their development. Although North Africa had sent its Jewish population packing, Africa's backwardness was partly due to the near absence of settler Jews and intermarried with Jews. Perhaps the reason why the Israelites avoided West and Central Africa were mosquitoes, tsetse fly, and their lighter skins, which will be too noticeable in Africa, though obscure in Europe and Asia. Many Jews intermarried with host peoples and over many generations acquired their physical appearances of their hosts and became indistinguishable from them. Thus, Europeans and Asians have Jewish blood flowing in their veins. I repeat, thus Europeans and Asians have Jewish blood flowing in their veins, and Europeans and Asian Jews are not distinguishable from their host communities. In terms of physical resemblance. However, Africans do not have Jewish blood flowing in them. They do not have centers of Jewish religion, culture, and education. Asians' entrepreneurial skill seem to be closer to that of Jews. Their traditional religions are in some respects more altruistic and moralistic than African traditional religions. The Chinese and Jews even have similarities listed as follows. A. They have many billionaires in many countries. B. They are hardworking. C. They give importance to higher education for the benefits of the future. D. They achieve economic success in host countries. E. They encounter hostility or being disliked by the host society. F. They place importance on family unity and continuity. G. They are clannish and display resistance to assimilation. H. They exhibit male orientation in inheritance. I. They are survival driven. J. They depend on diaspora network. K. They develop great economic power, enabling the use of political influence to protect their interests. I. They are very religious. Judaism, Christianity, Jews, Buddhists, Confucianism, Jainism, Taoism, Zen, Shaolin, Chinese, or the Igbos of Nigeria seem to have majority of these traits and attitudes. The curse that Ethiopia received in the Bible was because it was inseparable from Egypt and constituted the reserve army of ancient Egypt in the oppression of Israel. Africans should be cautious in the Arab-Israeli dispute so that they do not strengthen the cause of Ezekiel 29 and 30. History recorded it that the Himyars, a Jewish tribe in pre-Islamic Saudi Arabia, was destroyed by Ethiopians and Roman forces from Constantinople. Africans need deliverance. Therefore, the Christian-Jewish influence is pivotal to Africa's development. The Christian-Jewish influence is pivotal, is necessary to Africa's development. 7. There is also the problem of corruption or the cause of the law. This will be extensively discussed in later chapters. Thank you for your viewing. May God bless you in Jesus' name.